And hello once again. Today, the good news comes on November the 8th, 2023, and this is recording 598, with a scriptural reference of Mark chapter 4, verses 39 through 41, entitled, What Manner of Man? What manner of man? In the scriptures, it's recorded that after being awakened during a storm at sea and asked if he did actually care for their well-being, the master arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. What manner of man? He then turned and said to his disciples, Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Have you ever looked at someone that you thought should have known better about something and just looked at them and said, What is wrong with you? Why didn't you? This is the way he's addressing them. Okay? Why are you so fearful? Now, can you imagine? They look back at him and go, Man, what is wrong with you? Don't you see the wind and the waves out there? Don't you see? Now, here we go. Now we come on down to 2023. And what are the people of God saying? God, don't you see what we're going through? Can't you see the chaos that's out here in the world? The threats that's coming? Don't you see these men walking around openly carrying weapons and just shooting people at will? Don't you see a disease being named every 5 seconds to the point to where you can hardly get through a commercial break now without them advertising some symptom, cloaker, because they don't heal the disease, they cloak it. Jesus is addressing us today the way he addressed his disciples. He says, Why are you so fearful? What's the key word that we should be paying attention to? Fearful. Because truth be known, even God's people are fearful. You know, I say this, and I say it not begrudgingly or trying to down anybody, but you know, if you'll look back, we were scared into going to church. Come on, think about it. As little kids, it was put before us that if we didn't get saved, right, we were going to end up in hell. Now look all around the world. You think that your little body of people that's meeting, NASA probably got down to most like 10 or 11 people. But every now and then you see it on Facebook or see it on TV. They got 1,000, 2,000. I think Creflo got 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You got your boy out there in Houston. He got 20,000. You got T.D. Jakes is at 1,000. And you start thinking and you say, all around the world, usually on Sunday, these places fill up. Right? Mm-hmm. Did you not know that basically it's this fear that's causing them? Because if I guarantee you, if I can have a conversation with them, you know what most of them are trying to figure out? How to get out. I'm serious. They're trying to figure out how to get out of that setting. Why? Because they're not getting anything. They keep getting promises after promises, and the promises are so full now that of something coming, right? Coming. I got a friend that every time you see him, he said, oh, Lord, when the Lord, he's coming real soon. I said, dude, did you realize it's been 2023 years? 2023 years. We still talking about him coming? And you said, but Rev, maybe he is. I said, well, I'm not going to deny that the physical body, Jesus Christ, is going to come back. But look at all of the men that have written detailed accounts of him coming to them and have written to motivate us to find out how they got in touch to see him. Now, I'm just going to throw this in. We all remember that Jesus had 12 disciples, right? And they all saw him crucified. But did anybody ever stop to think that after he had been crucified and raised from the dead, that the disciples got a little discouraged? And Peter, they said, what are we going to do? Peter said, I don't know what y'all going to do, but I'm going fishing. He went back. Now, remember, he had given up fishing for 3 years. He says, I'm going fishing. I know how to live in that world of good and evil. So he goes fishing with and where we going to. So they get out there and they go to fishing. And who appears on the seashore? A man. And he hollers out and says, hey, boys, have y'all caught anything? And they look up because who do they think it is? A man on the seashore. No, we ain't caught nothing. We've been here all night. Well, throw your net on the right side. Okay. So they throw it over there, and immediately the nets are full to the point of sinking. So they have to call the other boat to come over to help them. And John looks up, and John says, hey, Pete, that's the Lord. And Peter goes, you know what? You right. Now, Peter forgets all about the fish at this point. He jumps in the water and swims to shore. Now, that's not the highlight of the story. Do you guys realize that now Peter and the disciples and John were seeing the resurrected Christ? They weren't seeing the man that had walked with them for 3 years. They're seeing the Spirit coming from the other side, revealing to them that their eyes had been opened enough to be able to see into the eternal realm, and they recognize the Spirit, and they go to meet him. Now this makes so much sense, doesn't it? When Jesus first meets them 3 years ago, and he says, why are y'all so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? And the scripture goes on to say, and they feared exceedingly. You ever been so afraid that you thought that you might lose your mind? That you didn't know what to do, that your body wants to go in 2 directions at the same time, and your mind is going, what shall I do? You just can't. This is where their fear went. But it was not because of the storm. Are y'all feeling me? They became more afraid of him. What manner of man is this, they said, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Their fears seem to be more now of him than of the storm. And yet after 3 years with him, they were ready to give their lives now. 3 years later, I read a story the other day, and it told how all of the disciples were killed or martyred. Some of them went through horrific what do you call it, spectacles, flayed alive, sawed in half, fed to the wolves, fed to the lions, fed, you name it, crucified upside down. This is what they were willing to do 3 years later after they were afraid. He spoke to them that they should not be afraid of any suggestion of danger, as they possess the same abilities that caused them to exclaim, "What manner of man is this?" Can you find yourself sitting down and asking that same question, but with a positive reply you're expecting to hear? Instead of, "What manner of man is this?" you say, "God, what manner of man is this?" This question, if asked respectfully, will then lead us to a man that has forged deeply beneath the seeming laws of the world, to have revealed a secret that could be shared no matter what the price. I trust that right now you are beholding a veil that has been holding your belief to believe in a world of fear, discomfort, chaos, poverty. And here comes a man that's saying, "Why are you afraid?" You see, except that you do this, except that you ask this question with the belief that there is a world beyond this one that he came from, okay? And in coming from that world, what was his most important declaration? This is where you come from also. Otherwise, he would never have asked them, "Why are you so fearful?" You see, only you can determine why you're fearful. And if you're honest with yourself, what are you going to say? "I was brought up in this world, and this is the only world I know. I was told that there was a possibility of me getting beyond this, but it's after I die," which the scriptures do not agree with. They agree with you dying, but Paul says, offer yourself as a living sacrifice. See? A living sacrifice, that you might behold the glory of God. And except we seek with our whole heart, we won't prove it. Because you know what we've been taught to do? To trust that if we pray to God, how? In Jesus' name, right? And if you're anything close to being honest with yourself, you've seen some of the most wonderful prayers go unanswered. I'm talking about the ones that you know. All you were doing was asking for a little help. All you were doing was asking for a loved one to get healed, because they hadn't done anything. Lord, why is this baby born still? Lord, what did this child do to deserve this? And the Lord seems to, what? Pay no attention. You see, Jesus came to show us. That's why he says in John 14, "Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." Why? Because I got something for the fear. But what must we do? We must forge into that kingdom that he says was within us. How many of us pray believing that the answer is going to come from within us? I guarantee you, not many. Because we believe ourselves to be separated from God because of something that we either did or didn't do, sins of commission or sins of omission. And therefore, we are not surprised when he doesn't answer. And Jesus says, oh, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. The kingdom is where? Within. Oh, so what can stop me from penetrating my withinness to find this answer? Me. Me deciding that I don't want to get in bad posture with the other unhappy souls sitting in the church with me. Because the moment I tell them that the Lord appeared to me, what they going to say? You better go tell the pastor, I think you're dealing with a demon. You better not tell nobody this. And you know for a fact that it happened. And now I understand why my mentor says, hey, when these things happen, keep your mouth shut. Yeah. Keep your mouth shut until they are happening so frequently that no one dare come to you and question you. And if they do, you can just look at them and say, oh, okay, you can't hear this? I'm out. You see, piercing the veil of life proves so present a world unaffected by the seeming chaos of the visible scene. Piercing the veil. What veil? Corinthians. For now we see through a glass darkly. And that's the one that you're being taught. You're being taught every day. You know, you can't know God's. You stick your hand over in God's business. All right? Come on now. Look through a glass darkly. But you don't hear any church going to 2 Corinthians 3 that says, in verse 10, I believe, when the heart turns to God, the veil is removed. Who removed it? God did. And how did he remove it? Because he saw my heart. He saw my heart is not looking for money. My heart is not looking for a lover. My heart is not looking for a car. My heart is not looking for a house. My heart is not, you get my point? What's my heart looking for? Him. He saw my heart, and when my heart hit that string, bing, like the song said, bing, went the strings of my heart. It says the veil is removed and the glory of God is revealed. For where the Spirit of the Lord is, come on, there is liberty. So I should be recognizing the fact that wherever I am on any given moment of any given day, what is with me? Liberty, freedom. And that freedom or liberty translated into another word is what? God. What have I to fear? What have I to dread? Leaning on the everlasting. No, I mean, that leaning is not like I'm out of power. That leaning is simply saying what? Man, I don't need to do nothing. I have given myself over. Right here, I am reminded of a line that's in the movie Matrix. It's when, what's his name? No, what is his name? Neo. When Neo he's been shot, okay? And he's expected to die because he's told that if he dies in that world, he'll die in the real world. And his girlfriend says something to the effect that, no. The oracle told me that my love for him would be our strong point, he can't die. And she says, he's dead. She says, wake up. Get up. And then when he gets up out from the dead, he stands there, and now he's dealing with these, the what do you call them guys? Smith and his boy. And she now looks and says, what is he doing? And Morpheus says, he's starting to believe. When will you start to believe that on the other side of this thing we're living is a secret world of dominion awaiting your acknowledgement, a world of love, the first movement that has ever been, the only movement that has ever been. And at the end of that movement, what did the creator or the author say? My kingdom is finished. And he hallowed that day, which simply means it wasn't a Saturday, okay, or a Sunday, or a Wednesday. It was the Sabbath. It was the day of belief where no more work need be done. Finished. So when someone comes and asks me, when do you believe the Sabbath is? I tell them every day. Because the Sabbath is the day that I stop working or having concerns about anything as God ceased from his works. For he who has entered the Sabbath of God has no more concerns for the things of this world. That means piercing the veil, doesn't it? That means I need to be able to look at this world and deny everything that's going on in it, because this world is not my home and my kingdom is not of the earth. A world of love, a world founded on a law that cannot be manipulated, but will yield itself to every heart seeking truth. This world proves the outer world of the senses to be but illusion at best. I'm the first to hear what that sounds like coming out of my mouth. But go back to the boat. Where was Jesus when the storm arose? In the hinder part of the ship, asleep. What does that mean? Away from danger and not giving it a flip of a thought. Right? Totally secure in who he knew himself to be. And they come to him and they say, don't you care that we perish? And he arises out of his sleep with a scorn. What's wrong with y'all? Why are y'all so fearful? Don't you have any faith? You know why the church doesn't have faith? Because it believes that it can pray in Jesus' name and the answer will come. No. Faith is the substance. Faith is the belief that there is a world secretly beheld by the believer that has dominion over this world that we all appear to be living in. But if that world is secret, then surely we're not living in this world. If we were, we would not get up every day asking the question, How can I make it today? Why should I have concern over who is doing what to me if I know that liberty is with me always? Third, comfort. What manner of man lives in this secret world? See, that's the question. Even though you may not know the answer, or I may not know the answer, that's the question. What manner? You say you love God, right? That's what Jesus said. You say you love God. You say you believe in God. What was the next statement? Believe also in me. Now your next question is, what manner? The God that I cannot see has sent a man that I can see. Now, I'm no longer asking that question in disbelief. I'm asking that question in awe. Because something is telling me that whatever that man is, I am also. What manner of man? It's the man of God's creation. Is that you? See? You have but to answer that question. Is that you? And how you answer it will determine your entrance into that world. The man that has dug deeply into the question and found his heritage to be established in something he thought to be external to himself, the Christ. Know ye not that Christ lives in you? Do you not know that you are the temple of the living God? I mean, how many ways does he have to ask that question? And he's not asking a question for you to answer. He's saying this is a fact. This is a fact. The Christ. Well, if the Christ is living with me, who am I? Bing. That's the question. You're somebody trying to hold on to something that's going down the toilet. Want me to say it again? Yeah, go ahead. You are somebody trying to hold on to something that has been flushed. Well, wait a minute, Rev. Hold up. If it's been flushed, why am I still looking at it? Because you still trying to hold on to it. Well, Rev, how do you know it's been flushed? Who was it that said, the kingdom of my Father has come unto you, and the prince of this world is now judged, got it, and cast out. Now, the whole world thinks that word prince of this world, or the evil one, they think they're talking about a devil. No. Who is the prince, y'all? Isn't the prince the son of the king? So the prince of this world would be in line to take over the king. Well, who do you think that is? That's you. You're the prince. You're the evil one. The one who has believed in good and evil, the one who has been doing all of this mess down here, and Jesus is coming to say, his day is over, y'all. He's judged. But the judgment is a good thing. Can y'all see it? The judgment means I'm now coming to take his burden off him, and I'm going to boost him up to the king's chair, where now he will rightfully sit on the throne. Don't believe me? Go read the book of Galatians, especially chapter 4, where it says, where the young one, while he is under tutors and governors, he differs no more from a servant. For he is under the laws, and he must be taught by the laws. But when the day of the Father comes, what's the day of the Father? When that young boy gives his heart over to God, his heart is changed, and he is taken from being a prince and moved up to the dominion of being the son, which is the outer expression of the law of God. God is never going to come sit on a throne, okay? Did y'all get that? God is never going to come sit on the throne. Who's going to sit on the throne? The Son. The Son who holds within him the totality of the understanding of who he is, the visible image of the invisible God. Here comes your New Jerusalem, a man now understanding who he is and having dominion over all things, because he and the Father have become one in total agreement. Can this be so? He said, I am come into the world a light, not to condemn or destroy, but one that forgives and lights the way. Like I said on Facebook the other day, seeking to find God as though he was something to find is like asking light to show you where the darkness is. You see that, don't you? If I ask light to show me where the darkness is, man, I'm going to be looking, oh, he coming back one day. He coming one, And if I can't, if light always shows me that light is where it is, the next move for me then is to what? Relax. Because light can only show me where it abides. He that follows me shall no longer walk in darkness, but shall set free as you see me do. What manner of man is this? He that has accepted his divinity and thrown off every belief that denies it. Did y'all get that? You cannot accept your divinity as being the Son of God. And you say, well, Rev, I don't know whether I'm the Son of God. Well, go read 1 John chapter 3. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. Come on now. John chapter 1, what did he say? For to as many as received him, gave he power or authority to become what? Sons of God. You don't become the sons of God when you die and go to this place called heaven. If that's the case, there was no need for Jesus to come here to the earth and show out. I mean, at the crucifixion, after the crucifixion, it says that when he arose, it said he made a blatant display of all of Satan's works. Satan? Reb, I thought you said it wasn't no devil. That's right. Satan is to miss the mark. He made a display, an awesome display of all of the erroneous thoughts that man had carried as true beliefs. He shattered every one of them, even to the one called death. And after that, what did he do? He arose, and then he looked at us and said, you don't have to do this. I'm doing it for you. Now you understand why he was crucified, hung on a cross, because to reveal that secret world, he had to prove to you that where he comes from, there's only light, love, liberty, and there is no darkness, ignorance, death. But you don't have to do it. All you got to do is walk in the light as he is in the light. Come learn of me and be enlightened to the truth that you are. How so? Deny that which you appear to be. Y'all see that? Yeah. What do I appear to be? Don't say African American or Caucasian. Human. There you go. Human. Mortal. Because mortality has a beginning and an end. And Jesus came and proved to you what Paul says. What did Paul say? This mortality must put on immortality. He's saying here that this belief that you carry, this satanic belief that you carry, must be exercised that you might understand. Who shall deliver me from this wretched body that I am? Is that what Paul said? And then he comes right behind that and says what? I am so glad that the law of life has delivered me from the law of sin and death. No longer I that live, Christ now lives my life. Man, deny that which you appear to be. Follow me in consciousness and watch as Christ is raised from the tomb, a great light for all the world to behold, a city of comfort for all to rest in and be fed, a house built on a rock that cannot be moved, but stands on its own truth. When truth enters the sacred halls of belief, then all adversity ceases. The glory of the Lord is seen and witnessed far and wide. But more importantly, from within, where this truth is revealed. To find this out, you need but do what? Ask with an expectant reply. What manner of man am I? Peace, be still. Let's have a revelation or meditation. I call this rejecting the rumor. Every day is a lost opportunity if we fail to reject that every discord and inharmony in our own life or that of the others is only a rumor, a temptation, a claim of a selfhood apart from God, a belief in a presence of power apart from God. As you pray, this realization may not come in a flash, but at the point that you've begun, it's coming because the heart expects it to. At this point, we have begun to ask, seek, and knock for it. Not asking for things of this world, but for the realization that the grace of God is maintaining this universe in its original integrity, purity, protection, eternality, and immortality. What manner of man am I? Speak. Heart, be at peace. Peace. Be still. Listen. And accept the answer that comes to your heart.